going on, blessed people? How's my Abs Nation doing? I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. How y'all doing? It is February for Take Back Fridays. And this is Black History Month as well as the Love Month. So what I want to do for all of February is kind of be taken back by some Black history. So we're going to kind of go over some of the Black history legacy building people. And I have two buckets here. So I'm going to be pulling 3 names out of 100 names here. And we're going to show them some love on today and give a little bit of history and a little information about them. So I'm going to pull my 3 names and let's see who it's going to be. I ain't looking, y'all. All right. So first one is going to be Hiram Revels, if I'm saying that right. Hiram Revels. The second one is going to be Charles Hamilton Houston. And our last one is going to be Elijah McCoy. All right, so we got Elijah McCoy. We have Charles Hamilton Houston, or Houston. And then we have Hiram Revels. And all of these I don't really know, so we about to learn something today. All right, so let's go ahead and get on into it. All right, y'all. So the first one was Hiram Rhodes Revels, and he was born on the 27th of September in 1827, and he passed away January 16th, 1901. He was a Republican, U.S. Senator. He was a minister in the African Methodist Church and a college administrator. All right. He was born free in North Carolina. He later lived and worked in Ohio, where he voted before the Civil War. He became the first African American to serve in the U.S. Congress when he was appointed to the United States Senate as a Republican to represent Mississippi in 1870 and 1871 during the Reconstruction era. During the Civil War, Revels had helped organize 2 regiments of the United States colored troops and served as a chaplain. After serving in the Senate, Revels was appointed as the first president of Alcorn Agricultural and Mechanical College, now considered Alcorn State University, and served from 1871 to 1873 and 1876 to 1882. Later in his life, he served again as a minister. So I'm not going to go through all of this because I know it can be a lot, but he passed away at age 73 in Mississippi. I'm going to see if there's any other ones that I wanted to mention. I did some highlighting, y'all. So, one big thing was he vigorously supported racial equality and worked to reassure his fellow senators about the capability of African Americans. So he was really a supporter in that. So, more information, look up Hiram Rhodes Revels. All right. All right, the next one is Charles Hamilton Houston. Charles Hamilton Houston, born September 3rd, 1895, and he passed away April 22nd, 1950. He was a prominent African-American lawyer, dean of Howard University Law School, and NAACP, first special counsel, or legislator director. A graduate of Amherst College and Harvard Law School, Houston played a significant role in dismantling Jim Crow laws, especially attacking segregation in schools and racial housing covenants. He earned the title, "The Man Who Killed Jim Crow." Houston is also well known for having trained and mentored a generation of Black attorneys, including Thurgood Marshall. Further, founder and director of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund and the first Black Supreme Court Justice. He recruited young lawyers to work on the NAACP's legislation campaigns, building connections between Howard's and Harvard's University Law Schools. So a few things about him that I want to mention is that he married twice, and he only had one child, and that was a junior. So Charles Hamilton Houston Jr. that he had with his second wife. Let me see. I don't think that was. And then how he passed away, he had a heart attack. He died from a heart attack on April 22nd at the age of 54. So that is, if you want to learn more about him, Charles Hamilton Houston. All right, our last one for our Take Back Friday is Elijah McCoy, born May 2nd, 1844, passed away October 10th, 1929. He was a Canadian-born inventor and engineer of African-American descent who was notable for his 57 U.S. patents, right? Most having to do with the lubrication of steam engines. Born free in Canada, he came to the United States as a young child when his family returned in 1847, becoming a U.S. Okay. A few things about him. He was a sibling. He had 11 siblings, right? He was educated in Black schools in Colchester Township due to the 1850 Common Schools Act, which segregated the upper Canadian schools in 1850. He then began to go into the mechanical field. He invented an automatic lubricator for oiling the steam engines of locomotives and ships, patenting it in 1872 as improvement in lubricators for steam engines. So, let me see what else. 50 of his patents dealt with lubricating systems. So most of his patents that he did was focused on those similar things. That thing was said, "Oh, you're the real McCoy." That came from him, meaning pretty much the real thing, because what they were talking about was when companies wanted to purchase something like that, because there was people who were doing things similar. You know, you had the knockoff brands of what his actual patent product was, and so a lot of the companies would be like, all right, does it have the real McCoy system in that? So that's where it came, you got the real thing. So one of the most famous legacies that he had was leaving his name, the country, his name. So when people say, oh, you're the real McCoy, meaning you're the real thing, that was where this came from. So that was pretty cool to see, because I've heard that before and everything and never knew where it really came from. All right, so a few things about him also was he was married twice. He had, let me see, I thought it told me how many kids he had. I know he had multiple kids. I want to say he had 8 kids, but he passed away at the age of 85. So he lived a pretty decent life, but he suffered from injuries from a car accident 7 years earlier that him and his wife was in, and she had passed away from in that accident. So he suffered from it, and he ended up passing away at age 85. So now it's going to drive me crazy not knowing about like his kids. I could have sworn. All right. But anyway, that is a little bit of information on Elijah McCoy, creating that special patent for the lubrication of the steam engines. All right. Well, that is all we have for next time. Tune in next week when I will pull out 3 more of some of the greats in history, and we will go over a little bit of history about them. All right. Until next time, Abs Nation, keep on marching on. Bye.